Hello everybody, Chaz Large here again with another Fix It video, and on the bench today we have a Tesco Hudl. For those of you not in the UK, Tesco is one of our major supermarkets, and they produced this little Android tablet many moons ago, and they're still very popular. I don't think they sell them anymore, so you know they're coming towards the end of their life, but there were several versions of them. Anyway, this particular one was sent to me. Please can you fix this? I've had to reset it to get rid of the data because I want to pass it on to my children, and then I dropped it, and the Hudl itself is working, and if I touch there you can see that's not working, but some bits of it are, because there's a great big crack right across the screen. So the actual screen itself is working, and if I turn it round I'm pretty sure that I can actually touch the start button there, as you can see, and so bits of it will work but bits of it won't. So if I click there nothing's happening, but if I touch up here these will work. Yeah, so basically what I've got to do is to replace the screen. So I had a look online to see if I could buy a replacement screen. So anyway, I couldn't find any replacements, but what I did come across is an eBay sale for not very much money, a pair of Hudls of the same model, both of which have got good screens. Well, they seem to be good screens. That one's got a few little marks on it, but I'm not interested in the internal functionalities of it. I'm really interested in getting the screen apart. So looking at them, they are physically identical apart from the color. Yeah, camera at the top and so on. So what I need to do is to have a look and see how easy they are to come apart. So I'm pretty sure that these will just come apart with a spudger along the side. Let's change to the overhead camera so you can actually see what we're doing on here. Come down a little bit closer and we should be okay. Right, so basically what we're going to try and do is to see if we can get this apart without damaging any electronics part of it, and it looks like we can just lever it apart with a good old spudger. There you go, there's the first little clip coming apart. It's not always easy to know which way to prise this, but generally speaking what I've found is with most devices like this is the clip itself is attached to the top side, the screen side, and the bit that clips over the clip is on the bottom side. So if you lever it so the bottom side lifts off the clip, you're usually pretty safe. You've obviously got to be a little bit careful that you don't damage screens by levering too much. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that one in there because this corner is feeling a bit tough, and then just get another one in there. There we are. Sometimes you have to go around with 2 or 3, a bit like a bicycle tyre, getting a bicycle tyre off of a bicycle. Right, top cover is away. That's good. Well, all the electronics there look to be in one board. So we've got battery connector, screen connectors, other connectors. Yeah, so if there's a board reference, front DSC, can't see any board connectors. Right, let's put that there for a minute and get the one that's not doing anything and get this one apart. So I'll probably whiz round this one. Okay. Well, looking at it, they look absolutely identical. So I think we can take the board off of this one. I'll say good on this one. So let's pop that screen over there for now so we don't damage it. Now obviously the broken screen is attached to this outer frame, and to be honest it looks like it's a hell of a job to change that screen without damaging it. So I'm not worried about the actual colouring, so the customer's just going to have an orange surround when it goes back to them. First off, disconnect the battery. Then on each of these little connectors on here, on each of these little connectors there is like a little lever that you lift up like so, which is like a clamp for the ribbon cable, and gently with a pair of tweezers pull the ribbon cable out. Similarly for this one, pull the ribbon cable out, and on these three as well. A lot of these ribbon cables, they put an extra little piece of plastic for you to just grip hold of, so that makes life easier as well. I forgot that. And then there's a little micro speaker connector which we just gently tug out by this plug. Always best to get the plug to pull the plug out rather than grab the cables, because you pull the cables out and they could get damaged. That's a socket, so that can stay there. So now the next thing is the screws. And gently lift in case there's anything I've missed in terms of connectivity. Can't see as there is. Yep, and so the board comes out. Not a lot you can do with these boards, I wouldn't have thought. But anyway, that's a good one. So we can put that faulty display over there. A few little casualties of the clip process. You always get them. Right, battery. Now, I'm not going to put this battery in, I'm just going to take the battery from the original out, just in case anyway. Let's hope it's not glued in. I don't think it is. No, it's not. That's nice, isn't it? Now you can see how difficult it would be, I think, to remove the frame with the plastic escutcheon away from the screen without doing a lot of damage. I might have a go later on, but at the moment I'm not that bothered. What I really want to do is to get this battery in here. Actually, I might as well change it. Wouldn't it be nice if iPad batteries were this easy to change? In fact, it would be nice if any Apple battery was easy to change like this. Maybe with right to repair coming in, things will improve, but I doubt it very much, because Apple are only going to make certain spare parts available for certain models to meet their obligation of right to repair. So, well, you can repair this if you buy this one. We're not selling you spare parts for probably some of the more expensive ones. It's a shame, because I've got 3 iPads, all of which are now no longer updatable, and of course all the apps are now out of date. Right, we go for a power on. We have screen illumination. It says powered by Android. Hudl booting up. Start. Yay! Right, let's connect it to my Wi-Fi. Click connect. Hudl is connecting to Wi-Fi. We have a Wi-Fi symbol coming up. Couldn't access the internet. Right, back with this Tesco's Hudl. I've put the back on now, just basically to make it easier, because I can then press the buttons. And as you can see, it's working. It's fully working, and we can get to all the apps and so on. And discovered basically the main reason that I wasn't able to connect to the internet, as the error message said, was because it was connecting to the internet, but it wasn't connecting to the Tesco server, which doesn't exist anymore. And even though I'd gone through the process of entering a Google account, and you can get into the Google side of things and it connects to the internet, so I know that it is working on the internet, it's just when you're trying to get into the actual tablet operating system that it stops you because of the network. And the reason is if you put any kind of an account in, it tries always to try and connect to that Tesco server. So the trick is, when you're doing a reset, is to not put anything in and to disable anything that connects automatically. Once you've done that, you can then carry on. So what I'm going to do to demonstrate this, I'm going to put it back into recovery mode. Go to settings, back up and reset. factory reset, reset tablet, erase everything. So good, it's now erasing. So factory reset basically is reset it to this point. Right, okay, so we're back to the hello start. So if we touch that, searching for Wi-Fi, there's our Wi-Fi. So I'll just enter the key, excuse me while I take that out of shot while I do it, and click connect. And there we are, we've got this message. So this message couldn't access internet. Internet connection is needed to set up. Please check your Wi-Fi settings. Is actually a lie. This is not an internet error message. It's an access to the server message, which is wrong. So basically, you can't connect to the Tesco server because it doesn't exist, and without connection to that, it won't get started. So what we need to do is bypass that server connection and connect and let the computer boot itself completely into the full operating system. Won't be able to do any updates on it, won't be able to change the version of it, but at least it becomes a usable device. And there's a technique basically where you have to try and fool the setup so that you can get into one of the settings to change the date to before the 21st of July 2020, which is when the server was turned off. So if you set it back a couple of years from that, turn everything else of the automatic settings off, then it should start up. So what we do is we click on there, we click on other network, and we start to we've got the keyboard up. Now on the comma key, we've got three little dots. So if we touch and hold that and then slide up to that little gear icon, that should bring up the Google keyboard settings. We touch Google keyboard settings, scroll down here till we get to this page that says about Google keyboard. Then we've got various links here where we can report problem, etc. And you can see that the operating system on here is actually 2021. It's actually up to date. But because of the server being switched off by Tesco, it can't do any more. Anyway, what we need to do is to get into a text file that will allow us to bring up the settings. So we touch the open sources license, and we've got the open sources license. If we then touch and hold any word to highlight it, that brings up this bar at the top. So we've got web search here. Touch web search, and we should now be able to type in settings. Okay, as soon as we start typing settings, we've got two lots of settings. We've got the Google settings and the tablet settings. This is the important one. So we touch on that one, and now we're in the effectively the BIOS of the tablet. If we scroll down here to time and date, or date and time rather, touch that, and you can see it's found the correct date. It says 22nd of December. We turn off automatic date and time so it doesn't correct this, but we can now set the date, and all we're going to need to do is roll this back, whatever the date is, to 2019. Any old date on 2019 will do. Tick done. Leave the 24-hour format, and we've now got the back arrow comes up at the bottom here, so we touch that. Now this is when we want to switch off anything else that's going to be more automatic, and that's going to be things like location. So we turn off location there and go back. We go back into security. We can leave passwords visible. We don't need to, we can leave the verify apps, that won't make any difference. Language, I think we can leave that all set. That's it. So then we just touch back, and we can go down, whatever, and power it off, and that should now be enough to get us past that verification check, because when the tablet starts up next time, the date will be back in 2019. So then when it tries to connect to the server, it sees the date prior to the server certificate that is stored in here from the last time it was legally updated. I say legally, correctly updated, I should say. From the last time it was correctly updated, the server certificate date is before the 21st of July 2020. So now we can power it on. And wait for it to fully boot. Go start. It's connecting to the network, and now instead of the error message saying you need to connect to the internet, check your internet, whatever, it says by continuing you agree by the terms and conditions, which is the terms and conditions that Google apply. We click continue. Set up a Google account, no. And then we turn these off. Okay, just for now. We can always turn these things on. Have a Tesco account, no. Register with Tesco, skip that for now. It should bypass this updating the apps. Ready to update apps, not now. All done. And we can skip that. And there we are. We are now back fully working. So if you've got a Tesco Hudl that is basically stuck saying you can't access the internet, it's a bit of a lie. It can access the internet, it's just that the bit it's trying to connect to isn't there anymore. So I'm rather pleased with that. Managed to get this Android tablet up and running, albeit with a different case because we had to swap the screen. I may at some stage try and get this screen off of here, this case off of here, just to see whether it's possible, but I suspect it's all glued on, and that would make it very difficult to remove the screen from that case. But anyway, I might give that a try just a bit later on, and just to see if it's possible. I mean, if I break the screen, it's not going to be a problem because it's broken anyway. But it would be nice, I suppose, for the customer to have their original case back. Anyway, there we are. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching, and if you've got a Tesco Hudl, you can at least use it again, and you can put apps on it through the Google Play Store, but you need to add an account. Don't worry about that. Even if you update the date, if we go back to settings, let's just go back to the overhead again. So even if you update the date, you see it's there. So if we do update date, it's now finding the right time, even though the time is correct on there. It will carry on working fine. It's only when it goes into that reset mode that it updates. You need to add a Google account before you can add more apps, but there are apps in here. There's games as well. Kobo books, which is quite good for books. There's a lot of free books on there. Play games. So you need to add an account for that, and so on. But anyway, it's usable. There we are. So, as I said before, thanks very much for watching. Cheerio.